What's up guys, Motonosity here. I had a subscriber request me to do a video on whether the SV650 is a good beginner bike. So that's what I read. I read an SV650S, more or less the same exact bike. And it's a little more powerful than you would expect to, a little more powerful of a bike than you would expect to get as a beginner. But the special thing about the 650 Suzuki is that it's a little more tame than your other 600 plus cc bikes. It's a little more, it's got the sport bike shape and stance kind of, but it's a little more relaxed of a sitting style than you'll get on a Gixxer or something like that. And of course, it's not a 1000cc bike, so you're not just oozing with power, but you definitely have a little more than if you had a Ninja 250. Back when I was trying to decide what bike I was gonna get, the Ninja 250 was actually one of the bikes that I was considering. Obviously, it's one of the main bikes that beginners get, and it's the one that Cab rides. So I was watching all of his videos. So of course that was one of the bikes that I was considering. But I wanted to look at all my options, and this one came up as one of the ones that I see if this guy lets me in. Thank you. I did a search for beginner motorcycles, and the 650 was actually one of the ones that came up in some of the discussions that I found. And there's a little kind of a back and forth going on with the 650. Some people think it's a good beginner bike, others don't. Others think it's a little too powerful for a beginner. But because it's not a full-on sport bike, it kind of gives you a good learning curve. You definitely have to respect it more than if you had a 250. So if you get a Ninja 250, you're not going to have tons and tons of power. So you're going to be able to push the bike further. And since you're less skilled, you're not going to get yourself into as much trouble. Just simply because the bike doesn't have enough power to put you into too many bad situations. You can always get into a bad situation, and because of other people, you're going to be put in bad situations. But you're not going to have as high of a chance to put yourself in a bad situation strictly because of the bike's power. So as you're learning with a Ninja 250 or any other 250 bike, you're going to be able to take it farther and learn a little better with your skill level. So as you're learning and gaining your skills, you'll be able to push the bike farther as you become a better rider. And so then you get to the point where you can push the bike to its limits, and you're not pushing yourself beyond your limits. So that's one of the advantages of getting a lower powered bike like the Ninja 250. The advantage of yet again I'll leave my blinker on. The advantage of getting an SV650 like I have is that you can grow into the bike. So if you have the patience and you give the bike the respect it deserves, and you make sure not to push yourself farther than you can ride, then I think it's a great bike. I'm on going on, let's see, probably a month and a half now with my bike, maybe closer to 2 months, and I have no problems with it. I've made sure to not push the bike farther than I'm able to ride. And I know I'll get there eventually, and I'll be able to use the bike for all it has. But at this point, I'm making sure to let myself learn and gradually grow into the bike rather than pushing myself farther than I can because the bike has the capabilities for it. And that was something that I learned when I was when I first started driving. This light is really long. When I was 16, I bought myself a Mustang GT, which definitely had a good amount of power. It wasn't like a super high powered car, but a Mustang GT has a lot of power for a 16-year-old. And you definitely have to learn to keep it under wraps a little. And that was something that I learned a lesson from, because I took it too far and I ended up totaling my first car. And I learned from that, and so going forward I've been a lot more of a conservative driver, and I learned to not push whatever I was driving or riding farther than I knew my skill levels could go. So getting this bike, I had the knowledge of respecting the machine and not taking it farther than I could take it. So if you have the confidence in yourself, and you're not afraid to take on the bike's power, but you're also able to honor the bike and respect its power and not take it too far, I think the SV650 is a great bike. It's got a good amount of power, it's got great straight line power, it's got good handling, it's a well-made bike, and then you save the trouble of having a bike that you're kind of dissatisfied with the power once you get more skilled for it, and you're able to grow into it and keep it a little longer, get a little more attached to it. I know Blinky Cab's had his 250 for a long time. I know there's a couple other motovloggers that have a 250, and they're more than happy with it. But I'm glad with the bike I got. So, if you're thinking about getting a SV650, I definitely recommend it. Just got to make sure to let yourself grow into it and not take it too far. So that's pretty good summary of what I think of the bike. I'll be sure to do a bit thorough review of the bike itself, not as a beginner bike, but what it's got and everything. But next week I'll be showing you guys, what was I going to show you guys next week? Oh, next week I'm going to show you my gear. So I'll be showing off the bike. I'll be showing off my my gloves, jacket, helmet, along with the equipment that I use, or the camera that I use for shooting these videos. And so I'll show all that to you in case you guys are interested. And I'll provide all links for that so you guys can go ahead and purchase it right away and find everything, get it all right there under the video. And that's coming next week. Again, videos every Thursday. Be sure to subscribe so that you get notified of these videos and you can see them right away when they come out. And you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you guys next week.